Alright, kiddos, welcome to today's lesson. Today we're going to talk about solving equations, and I'm going to be taking my time because, again, it's very important that you understand how to solve equations and go through the proper steps to solve an equation. This is one of the more important things we're going to talk about all year, which is why we're spending this extra amount of time to go through these problems. Again, one of the most important things is to make sure that your paper is organized, to make sure that your paper is neat, and to make sure that you're copying down the numbers and the variables and the negative signs correctly. Okay? So what I'd like you to do right now is turn in your books to page 28. And if you're not there, go ahead and hit pause right now. That way you can kind of catch up. So if you're not on page 28, hit pause. If you are, just continue it to play. Okay, so I'm going to go through the problem set. I'm going to go through all of the problems, okay? So we're doing this together, so again, you guys can get the feel of how to solve these equations. Now, not all of these problems are easy, so it's important, again, to pay attention, take good notes, and stay organized and write neatly. So let's take a look at problem number 1. Problem number 1 says x plus 4 plus 3x equals 72. So like we did in the previous problems, go ahead and draw a line right down the equal sign. So this helps us separate it into two sides. So now, when I do that, my eyes automatically go to the left side. So I see all this over here on the left side. And the first thing I notice is, well, I've got a couple things that I can combine because they have the same cabooses. So I know I can combine and simplify the x and 3x. So again, this is a positive x, this is a positive 3x, x plus 3x is 4x. Bring down the plus 4 equals 72. So go ahead and write this down exactly how I have this written. And let's take a look at the next step. So like in the previous problems that we did in class, the goal is to get the x completely by itself. So to do that, I've got to unravel everything else. So to do that, I want to undo any addition or subtraction. Well, I notice I have a plus 4. So I need to get rid of that first. Then I can start focusing on the 4x. But I need to get rid of the plus 4. So what gets rid of a plus 4? Well, a minus 4. So subtract 4 from the left, subtract 4 from the right. That then gives us 4x equals 68. Okay? Because the plus 4 minus 4, they go away, all I'm left with is 4x on the left side. So then, again, and we've talked about this many times in class, and I keep telling you guys that the last step in most cases, not all cases, but in a lot of cases, the last step is going to be division. So if you're doing division before this last step, you're probably doing something wrong. So if you notice 4 times x, well, the 4 is glued together, obviously, by multiplication. One of them does that is division. So I've got to divide by 4. And then divide both sides by 4. So the 4's go away. That just leaves me x on the left side. So x equals 68 divided by 4. That's going to be 17. So x equals 17. Okay, so that's exactly how you do problem number 1. Again, according to the recording, that only took me 3.5 minutes, and I did some talking there. So that first problem should only have taken you about 2 minutes. Okay, all right, let's take a look at problem number 2. So here we have x plus 3 plus x minus 8 equals 55. So again, just like we did in the previous problem, first thing you should do is draw your line. That separates it to a left side and a right side. So I have some cleaning up to do. So let's clean up the left side. So what are my like terms? I've got x and x. And I've got 3 and minus 8. So first of all, x plus x, that's going to come together to form 2x. 3 minus 8. Well, 3 minus 8 is a negative 5 or a minus 5, which then equals 55. Okay. So now, again, what's my goal? Well, my goal is to get this 2x completely by itself. Well, I got to get rid of anything that's attached to it first. Well, this minus 5 is attached to it. What gets rid of that? The opposite of a minus 5. The opposite of a minus 5. Why is that not going? Sorry. The opposite of minus 5 is a plus 5. That's still not working. Why is that not working? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. There's a plus 5. Where else do I do that? Remember, copy paste it to the other side. So bring the 2x down, haven't used it yet. 55 plus 5 is 60. These 5 go away, that's why we did it. So now, again, I'm left with my usual 2 times x, which to undo the 2 times x, I do division. So divide by 2, copy, paste to the other side. So 2 divided by 2, those go away, which just leaves me x. That's why I do it. X equals 30. All right. Take a look at the next problem. Problem number 3. Okay, so now this problem is kind of new from what we talked about on Friday, because yes, we have fractions, but now we have more than one fraction. We have more than one fraction with different denominators. So here we have a denominator of 2 and a denominator of 4. So in order to get rid of my fractions, like we talked about on Friday, it's just you want to multiply by the denominator, but here we have 2 different denominators. So I'm going to multiply by the lowest common denominator. What is the lowest common denominator between 2 and 4? Well, in that case, it's going to be 4, okay, because 2 goes into 4. So I'm going to multiply everything by 4. So times 4, times 4, times 4, times 4. Can't really see on my thing, but that's what you're going to do on your paper. Okay, so again, to speed things up, you can use a calculator. Maybe you know what 4 times a half is. Basically, what is half of 4? That's going to be 2x. Plus 4 times 10 is 40. If you want to, draw your line down the middle there. I forgot to do that. 1/4 times 4 is just x. Plus 54, which is 216. Okay, so you notice I got rid of all my fractions. So now I can attack this problem. So the first thing that stands out is that I've got variables on the right side and variables on the left side. I don't like that. I want to get my variables only on one side. So I'm going to subtract or get rid of the lowest valued variable. Well, here I have a 1x. Here I have a 2x. The 1x is lower, so I'm going to get rid of that by doing the opposite. What's the opposite of 1x? That would be a minus 1x. So I got to do that over here. Copy, paste. So 2x minus 1x is 1x plus 40 equals, well, these guys go away, 216. Okay, so just like in the previous problem, this problem now looks like the previous two problems, where I want to eventually get here, but I got to get rid of any plus or minuses that are attached. Well, here's a plus 40. What gets rid of a plus 40? The opposite, minus 40, minus 40. So that is now going to leave me x equals 216 minus 40 is, oops, that's not right. Sorry. X is 176. Okay, so in this case, x equals 176. All right, take a look at the next problem. So this would be problem number 4. So here I have 1/4 x plus 18 equals x. So again, I have a fraction, and I want to get rid of the fraction. So what do you think I'm going to multiply everything by? Well, what's in the denominator? Well, 4 is in the denominator, so I'm going to multiply this by 4, this by 4, and that by 4. So go ahead and do that. So times 4, times 4, times 4. So when you do that, 4 times 1/4. Again, if you don't know what this is, use a calculator. So that's just going to be x, because 1x, if you need to write that. 4 times 18. That's going to be 72 equals 4x. So I've now eliminated all the fractions, which is nice. So take a look at this. I now have variables on the right side, variables on the left side. I don't like that. So I got to move the lower valued variable. Well, here I have 4, here I have 1. Well, which one's lower? The 1 is lower. So get rid of the 1x by just look at the 1x and say, what's the opposite of 1x? Well, I would say negative 1 is the opposite. So subtract 1x, subtract 1x. Don't forget your line down the middle. So these go away. That leaves me 72 equals 3x. Okay, so I have the 3 attached to the x, which I don't like. I got to unglue this multiplication with division, so I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And when you divide both sides by 3, that's going to be 24 equals x. Okay, moving on. Making good time here. All right, here we got a little bit more complicated problem. But actually, when you look at this problem, it's not too bad. So, first thing I'm going to do is draw my line down the middle, number 1. So I've got the left side, which there's not much I can do with. 17 minus x, that's simplified as far as I can go. But now when you look at the right side, there's no variable on the right side. So I can actually combine all 3 of these guys, but I got to follow the order of operations. I got to do multiplication before I do my addition. So I'm just going to rewrite the left side, 17 minus x. Can't do anything with that, yes. So now I have 1/3 times 15. Well, 1/3 times 15 is 5 plus 6. And then next row, 17 minus x. Can't do anything yet with the left. 5 plus 6 is 11. Alright, so I'm almost done. I still have this 17 attached to this x. Alright, here's a minus sign, but this minus sign is attached to the x. It's not attached to the 17. Remember we talked in class how you always have to look in front. Don't look behind, look in front. So it's just a positive 17. Well, how do I get rid of a positive 17? Do the opposite. So 17 minus 17 goes away. That just leaves me negative x equals 11 minus 17 is negative 6. So in reality, that's a negative 1. So to get rid of that, just divide both sides by negative 1. So x equals a positive 6. So to get to positive 6, I divided this side by negative 1, this side by negative 1. Negative 6 divided by negative 1 is a positive 6. Okay, all right, very good. We are almost done now. Let's take a look at number 6. Okay, although this problem looks complicated, it really isn't. Just kind of follow your rules here. So the first thing I notice is, again, we've got a left side and the right side, so draw your line down the middle. And I notice I can simplify some stuff on the left side. So let's take care of that first. Anytime I can simplify, I like to take care of that just to kind of make my paper a little bit more organized and maybe a little bit easier. So I can see I've got x plus x. So x plus x is 1x plus 1x, which actually is 2x plus 2 all over 4 equals 189.5. Okay? So if you look at the left side, I kind of have a fraction. This is a fraction. Okay, here's my fraction bar. And I want to get rid of the fraction. Well, what's the denominator of 4? Well, if I multiply this side by 4, I should get rid of the fraction. So let's see if that works. So multiply everything by 4. Multiply that by 4 and that by 4. Well, these guys cancel. They're gone. So that leaves me 2x plus 2 equals 189.5 times 4. So let me just quickly do that over here. Times 4. That's 20. 36, 38. It's 3. 35. 3. That would be 7. Bring one decimal on. So 758. Okay, so I'm almost done. Just 2 quick steps left. And again, as you get better at these, the quicker these go, and the less work you have to show. So again, I know I got to get rid of this plus 2, but again, like most things, how do you get rid of something? Do the opposite. What's the opposite of a plus 2? Well, it's a minus 2. Copy, paste to the other side. They go away. So you're left with 2x equals 756. Last step, I got 2 glued to x with multiplication. Unglued that with division. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. And unfortunately, I ran out of room. X equals 350. Oops, not 350, sorry. My bad. 115, 378. So x equals 378. All right, not bad. All right, let's take a look at the last problem. So the last problem states Alicia solved, again, I'm reading from your book. I only have a little bit shown, but take a look at it in your book. It says Alicia solved the linear equation 2x minus 3 minus 8x equals 14 plus 2x minus 1. Her work is shown below. When she checked her answer, the left side of the equation did not equal the right side. Find and explain Alicia's error, then solve the equation correctly. So go ahead and hit pause and take a look at that. See if you can find the error on your own. If when you're done, go ahead and hit pause, see if that's correct. So go ahead and hit pause right now. Okay, well, let's see where she may or may not have made a mistake. So let's focus in on the left side. So the first thing she did was 2x minus 8x is negative 6x. I agree with that. Then she did 14 minus 1, which is 13 plus 2x. So far she's good. This is correct. This has simplified the left. This has simplified the right. Alright, so what did she do next? So here she wanted to get rid of the 3's by adding 3 to both sides. So she added 3 to both sides, which, okay, that's fine. That's not the order I would have done it in, but that's still okay. So it leaves you negative 6x. So we have 16 plus 2x. So to get rid of the 2x, what would you do to get rid of the 2x? What would you do to get rid of that? Well, I would to get rid of that by subtracting 2x. Well, what did she do? She added 2x. So right there is, I would say, the mistake. She should be subtracting 2x. So this actually right here, negative 6x minus 2x, should be a negative 8x. So that's where I believe she made her mistake. Okay, maybe you caught it, maybe not. Kind of tough to find, but I think that's where she made a mistake. All right. And then everything else she seemed to have done correctly. Okay, so right here was her mistake. All right. Okay, so basically your homework for tonight is to look at page 20 and 23 and do the odds. So I'm just going to do a couple just to kind of make sure that everyone's on the same page, and then you guys can do the rest. Then you guys have to do the odds. So let's take a look at number 3 on page 20. So this is, number 3, page 20. And again, if you don't have that worksheet, go ahead and ask whoever the teacher is in the room right now to get page 20. So number 3 says the following: 8 minus 9y equals 35. So what's my entire goal in all these problems? It's basically the same thing over and over again. I need to get these guys by itself. So I'm going to get rid of anything that's attached to it. Well, this 8 is attached to it. Now remember, and I've talked about this many times, you only look in front of the number to see what sign it is. This is a positive 8. This negative goes with the 9. Does not go with the 8. So how do I get rid of an 8? Well, what's the opposite of a positive 8? Negative 8. Draw your line down the middle. Do that, copy, paste. So then those go away. So I'm now left with negative 9y equals 35 minus 8 is a 27. So again, by now, this last step should go pretty quickly. I mean, those of you that are catching on should realize, okay, I got negative 9 times y. What gets rid of that? That's a divided by negative 9. Don't forget that's a negative 9. Negative 9 to both sides. 9's go away. That leaves me y equals negative 3. Okay, so that's number 3, just to kind of help you out. All right, take a look at page 23. So you guys have to do the odds. So I'll do one for you guys just to make sure you're on the same page. Let's see which one I should try. Let's look at number 9. I'll do number 9 with you guys. Number 9. So page 23. Number 9. And what does it say? I'll use green. Or actually, I'll use purple. 8 times x minus 3 plus 8 equals 5x minus 22. Okay, so we kind of tackled a problem like this in class. And we talked about in class take care of the parentheses. Open them up. Do some Angry Birds. Take 8 times everything on the inside. So go ahead and do that. So 8 times x, and no 8x, minus 8 times 3 is 24, plus 8 equals 5x minus 22. Draw your line. Okay, so is there anything I can simplify? Yeah, on the left side, I can simplify negative 24 plus 8. Well, negative 24 plus 8 is a negative 16, or minus 16, equals 5x minus 22. So again, I've got variables on both sides. I don't like this. I want variables only on one side. Well, again, in class, we talked subtract the lower valued variable. Well, that would be 5x. So subtract off the 5x. Let's see here, minus 5x, minus 5x. It gives me 3x minus 16 equals negative 22. Okay, so I'm almost done. Just undo whatever's attached to it, but save the 3x for last. We'll get rid of a minus 16 by adding 16. Add 16. That leaves me 3x equals negative 22 plus 16. Use a calculator if you're not sure. That is a negative 6. Negative 6. Divide both sides by 3. X is negative 2. Let me check the answer real quick, make sure I did that right. That is correct. Okay, so you guys have to do the odds. So use a separate sheet of paper. There should be some scratch paper up there. If there's not, the scratch paper is in the very back of the room by the air conditioning unit. It's up above in those little black bins. So take what you can. Okay? Alright, good luck. And again, if you're not sure what you're doing, go back and look at this video. Check it out. Make sure you understand how to organize your paper. Draw your line down the middle. Keep everything together. Keep it neat. Most importantly, keep it neat. Alright, good luck.